The world we're living in today has a lot of issues, but one of the prevalent issues is among the children. The norms and values that we normally hold on to before now is beginning to dwindle into a thin air. These days, a lot of troubles, a lot of issues are coming up in families. But sometimes we don't see it as anything. Why? I can say it's because it's end time. Because the Bible rightly said that at the end time, a lot of different things that has not been happening will begin to happen. One of these things that happens today that was not happening before or that was not prevalent in the life of people is sibling sexual abuse. In today's episode of You and Your Family, we're going to be exploring this topic. I'm going to be talking more about it to get you informed, to get you on the know of what is going on in the society and even in the church at large, so that you will be aware, be informed, and not be ignorant of what is happening in your family, so that you can cope or handle the issue on ground already. In this program today, you are going to be learning a lot. Please stay tuned and be part of this program, and you will not regret being part of it. I remain your uncle of this wonderful program, You and Your Family, Evangelist Mrs. Faith Okafor. Thank you because you're going to be here and be part of this program. Thank you. Oh, welcome back again to the beautiful and wonderful program you've been part of all this while. I know it's a favorite program you always look up to. Remember, it's you and your family. Yes, in this program we talk about family issues and family uh, uh, things that pertain to family. And in this program today, we are handling sibling sexual abuse. You may say sibling sexual abuse is no longer a thing we hear. What we normally hear is child abuse out there. But I want to inform you that right there in your family or in people's family around you, it do happen, but nobody speak about it because it's one of the issues that people don't report to the authority because it's like something that brings shame to the family. So in the process of covering the family secrecy, they cover this bad omen in the family, and it keep growing and defies the church, the society at large. So today we'll be handling this topic, and today we'll be talking on what is sibling sexual abuse. Sibling sexual abuse, well, as the word implies sibling, then sexual abuse. We talk about sexual abuse as somebody being forced into a sexual activity or something that looks like that without the person's prior permission or giving the person didn't give consent to such action, as someone being forced to or being lured to, maybe because of the child's age. And now we're talking about siblings involving in sexual abuse of each other. Who are siblings, by the way? Siblings are people who are living together as a family. Siblings could be children of the same family. They could be from the same mother by birth. They could be adopted. They could be foster children. They could be stepchildren. They could be people who are given birth by the same parents and are living under the same roof as a family. Siblings are family. Siblings are people who grew up together. They grew up together, they play together, they know each other, they explore things together, they learn together, and they do everything together. So they are families. But today, evil is already creeping into the family, and sexual activity is already being found in the life of siblings. Sibling can now abuse another sibling. Yes, it could happen that it happened between two siblings. It can happen between two siblings. Let me say two boys, two girls, or a boy and a girl. most time it's between two people or maybe group by group. Most time it's being influenced by the older child to the younger ones. And this child abuse or sibling sexual abuse doesn't really start in a day. And that is why you need to know about it. It's happening every day in the world we are in today. But we don't know, we don't see it, we don't even understand it. Even when we know, we don't see it as a very important issue. What I'm bringing to your note today, that this is destroying our society. Now, what do you think could be one of the causes of this sibling sexual abuse? Yes, if they are siblings that live together, they are from the same parents, they trust each other, they play together, they are left on their own together because they are family. If this is happening around them, what could be the cause? Yes, they have trusted each other over time. They are open to each other over time. Sometimes they walk around naked without feeling anything because they believe they are families. But how does it creep in? Number one, sometimes one of the older siblings, especially most time when they enter the teen age, whereby they relate with other children out there, under the peer pressure, their friends could tell them things about sexual activity. Maybe the ones who have been abused or the ones who have engaged into it. They can come to your own child or you've trained not to do so and make the child feel like if you don't do this, you will not belong to our group, you will not feel among. And this child will begin to hear so many things about sex, maybe you did not teach that child on time. And the friends has taught him in a wrong way, and he begins to think how to explore. Some of them cannot face another child out there to go and ask for friendship. They can't be bold enough to tell another girl, I want you to be my girlfriend, so that they can explore the sex they have been taught by their peer. And they come home. These are the easiest people that you can handle, you can easily have access to. When they come home, they see their siblings naked. They see their siblings being undressing before them. They see all those things. And most time they stay at it. They begin to remember things that they were taught or the friends were discussing on. And they want to explore. They want to know. They want to experience. And they knew it's a wrong thing because they have a living conscience. But they will never want to be able to, they will not be able to overcome it because the pressure is high on them. And now, because you are not very close to checkmate what is going on, or maybe your mind didn't go to that extent, they will capture the sibling and begin to buy the trust of the sibling and begin to make the sibling to be closer to them. You find out that child will always be closer to the other opposite sex sibling, and try to draw that one very close. Sometimes buy things or always give that one a share out of his to make that one feel loved by him. In that process, the trust can be won. And before you know it, this little one who will believe that this is my big brother and nothing could happen. And most times this happens, the most people who commit this crime are majorly the boys on the teen age compared to the rates at which girls involved in this. Sometimes they touch their private. They do it as if they are playing with them. And these ones, they feel no harm, so they relax. But one day, because they have power, they can subdue them. Sometimes they bully them physically. They bully them emotionally before the sexual abuse comes. They make them feel less powerful. They use physical abuse on them. They beat them, they shout them. When you notice your children one of the child is shouting on the other one, or maybe there is this physical abuse or emotional abuse, always trying to torture this one emotionally to cry for him or for her. Watch the action and try to look into the action to curb it. If it's not being curbed, it can lead to sexual abuse. All this thing grows with time. If a child can physically abuse the other one and emotionally abuse the other one, it's very easy for that child to also sexually abuse the sibling. When they subdue them by physical power, making them feel less powerful, they can use their power on them. They can threaten them. They can tell them, hey, if you don't do it with me, I will not play with you. If you don't do it with me, I will not give you what I normally give you before. And that child will succumb to their pressure. And before you know it, there is sexual activity already undergoing under your roof. Another thing that can cause this sibling child sexual abuse is the negligence of parents. Sometimes we parents, we don't have time for these children. We don't create time to go close to them, to know what their problems are. Sometimes they are buried in emotions. It could be what they were told outside by their friends. It could be what they have seen. Sometimes they can't control what they see. They could pick a friend's phone, and lo and behold, is a pornographic video, and they see themselves watching the video. After watching the video, the thing is ringing down in their mind. They are being controlled by what they have seen. You know, whatever you see have a way to affect you emotionally, physically, and otherwise. And this child character begin to change. The child begin to hide inside his or her shell, and you could not notice the change. Sometimes when the child even come close to you to talk to you, you shout the child, I beg go, I don't have time for you, because they're always disturbing. Yes, we know our children at that tender age, as they disturb, they complain a lot, but sometimes always create time to listen to that little thing they need to talk. In that nonsense, they may gather sense in it. And most time when we don't give them that time, they go out there to meet the wrong people to talk to them, and they influence them with negative ideas that they come up with. He said, if you can't talk to a girl outside, why not? That thing you are feeling, you are becoming a man, why not talk to your sister? Why not force your sister to do it? And you enjoy it. And before you know, they think it's the right thing, they come home and do it. These are the causes of this. And another point that could cause this happening in our surrounding is when a father abuses the mother or the wife sexually in front of their children. Yes, this happens majorly in the homes of people who are living in one-room apartments, sometimes two-bedroom apartments, where they sleep with their children in their bedroom. A man can come home and want to have sex with the wife, and the wife is not in the mood to have sex. Instead of trying to send the child or want to have sex with the wife, maybe the wife may be saying, I don't like, see, the children are here, the children, he said, forget about that sleeping. And sometimes when the wife refuses, they will beat them and force their wife to sleep with them. And these children, you don't know what goes on. A boy told me that one day he went visiting an uncle for a holiday, and they were living in one-room apartment. In the night, he will be sleeping. He doesn't know what really happens, but he will be deep asleep, sleeping. But something will always tap him whenever the uncle wants to sleep with the wife. And he'll feel somebody tap him, and he'll wake up. And immediately he wake up, he'll be hearing some sound. So he will not jack up like that for them to know that he is awake. As a child that he was then, he would just keep quiet and open his eye to know what is to, because he became curious to know what is going on. Sometimes he will open his eye to know what is going on, and he will watch them have sexual activity. And this begins to store in the heart of this boy. And before you know it, he starts to explore. And before you know it, he began to engage in that activity at a very tender age. You can imagine if this child had a female sibling around, the first person, the closest person to explore this activity he has watched is the sister or any relative around. That is why you have to be careful what you do. Don't say they are children, they are sleeping, they don't understand what is going on. Let me tell you, wrong things store up in the long-term memory, but the positive things hardly it takes time to store in the long-term memory. So you don't expose your child to what the child is not supposed to see on time. And some of the fathers who can subdue their wife and beat their wife up in front of their children, you are only teaching your male children that they can subdue their siblings or their sisters in front of anybody, or they can subdue them. They have the power to subdue any female. And that is why this is prevalent in our family. We have to be careful what we do. These are the things that cause this child abuse, a sibling sexual abuse around us. So we have to be careful. Watch and know what is going around in your corner, and pray about what is going around in the life of your children, so that you can be able to identify when there is a change. And when there is a change, try to handle it. If you can't, meet people who are specialists who can help you, spiritual head, counselors who can help to advise you on what to do. Thank you. Oh, we'll still have some other ones to discuss, but we'll be going on a short break to return back on this same episode. Thank you very much as you hang on and be part of this program as we continue. Thank you very much. Welcome back to this life-changing program. Yes, remember we are on this topic, sibling sexual abuse. Oh, yes, we've talked about what it is, what siblings are, and the factors that could contribute to sibling sexual abuse in the family. Now we're going to be talking about if it's normal. The world we're Welcome back to this life-changing program. Yes, remember we are on this topic, sibling sexual abuse. Oh, yes, we've talked about what it is, what siblings are, and the factors that could contribute to sibling sexual abuse in the family. Now we're going to be talking about if it's normal for a child to be curious about sex or sexuality. Is it a normal thing when children are very curious about sexuality? Yes, it could be normal, it could be abnormal, depending on the age. If a child of 4 years sees you undressing the sibling, who is still a baby, changing the diaper, and the child is curiously watching at the baby's private parts and watching it with this curiosity, it is not abnormal, it's a normal thing. Maybe the child is thinking, maybe if he's a boy and he's looking at the girl's own that is open, where is my sister's wee wee? Where is her penis? Has it gone? Did it disappear or is it yet to grow? The child is still imagining what's happened to the sister's own. Or if it's a girl looking at the brother, you say, does it mean my own disappeared? My brother has it, I don't have it. The child is trying to figure out why is there difference between mine and my baby's own. But when you have a child of 14 years, seriously, of 15, 16 and above, seriously watching the sibling private parts when the child is undressing, or maybe the child is bathing and you see the other one trying to peep through the bedroom to watch his sister take bath, you should know that that is not a normal thing. Something is already fishy somewhere and should be addressed immediately. When you see two children undress themselves, exploring their, sometimes they feel like touching each other private parts. It could be normal, yes. It could be that they are trying to explore, why is your own like, is it strong, is it soft? It could also be, even though they are tender, it could be that one of them has been abused and is trying to explore the other one, to text or to do the same thing they did to her, or to continue the experience he or she has encountered before. So now when a child is being abused, the child tries to abuse another child. That is why you see the circle of child abuse, sexual abuse, is rotating from one angle to the another. And when it happens among the siblings, it keeps rotating. When the big one abuses this one, the other one tries to abuse the other one. Before you know it, around the family, but God forbid, everyone there will be abused. So we need to understand the curiosity of children. Anytime you see that Don't shout on them. Don't scold them immediately. Calm down, hold your temper, control your emotion, observe, ask yourself some question before you call the child by the side and try to interrogate this baby. Don't be harsh when you are interrogating them, because when you ask a baby or a child question, the child will first of all look at your countenance, watch you to know whether you are angry, whether you will shout, whether you'll be angry for in what he or she is about to tell you or not. The child will always want to know what will be your next reaction if I say this. And if your mood is very tense, the child may not open up to you because you don't know what that child must have been told. So when you see a child trying to do something you don't understand, call the child by the corner. Why are you doing this? He said, I want to touch, I want to know how soft it is or how strong it is. Say, who taught you? Try to find out, could it be that the child has been abused? Could it be that the child has watched it somewhere? Could it be that the child has heard it somewhere? Could it be that the child is ignorant of what he or she is doing? That is the questions you ask, because there's a way you scold a child who is innocent, who is doing it without knowing what it is, or innocently, and the child will harbor it in the mind that there is something wrong about this thing I did, and begin to explore and become inquisitive to find out. And at that tender age, will get to know what he's not supposed to know, and that could spoil that child just because you scolded that child. So whenever things are happening around your children, don't be in a haste to rush. Don't be in a haste to shout them. Don't be in a haste, but take your time, observe, and study what is going on in your family. Then another question we want us to trash today before this episode will be, why is it difficult to identify these actions among siblings? Why is it so difficult to identify sibling sexually abusing another sibling in the same family? Why are parents not always finding it easy to identify it? Yes, because a family is a confinement. A home is a confinement where they are always together. If this is start because parents will always see them as siblings, would always find out easily when things are going on because they're always in their things together. But whenever you find out your child is always curious to see this other one undressed, you find out the other one is always peeping through the bedroom, you find out this other one is always trying to gist, to list or to share the kind of gist that is not a good one, you should know something is already going on. And why it's difficult is because parents don't care. Parents feel they trust everyone around them. They believe the way it was in their old time, that is the way it is today. Today, technology is coming up. Remember when it was your time, you don't watch Nigerian movie that way. And even the Nigerian movie that was acted those days was like a drama. You hardly see romance, some kind of things on television. But this day, the kind of things they show on television is life and character wrecking. Even though they put some parents, even when they write on the television PG-13, PG-16, they still allow their child of 5 years to watch the same video. Who told you that people who put that parental guardian of 13 years, that any child that is not up to 13 should not watch this? Who told that they don't know what they are doing? Who told that the people that put parental guidance code should be 16, should be from 16 years and above? Who told you they don't know what they're going to act in that thing? And you allow your child of 10 years watching 16 years old child movie, then you come and say you don't know what is happening. That is why we don't identify it. Sometimes they watch this on television and they want to practice with their siblings because they don't know difference between sibling and people outside. They believe every woman is a woman, every girl is a girl. So we need to be careful. Observe what is going on in your home. Teach your children. Why it's difficult is because we don't teach them. So they cannot easily come to you to talk to you. Another thing is because we are hostile to our children. They can't confide in you. They can't tell you things. And sometimes when they tell you things, when you're angry, you blow it off. When you're angry with them, you use it to scold them in the midst of other ones. They become so much ashamed. And tomorrow they will not tell you what is happening around them. And they begin to die in silence. What is the effect of this child's sibling sexual abuse among among children, or in the life of children, or people who are victim of it, it can destroy their self-esteem. It can bring shame and anger in them. It can bring resentment. It can make them to believe that nobody is worth to be trusted. Why they were victimized? Because they trusted their siblings. And they believe no one is to be trusted. Sometimes they will let you know that you should bring someone else instead of their siblings to take care of them. And sometimes when you bring someone else, they also abuse them. Sometimes they believe you allowed it. It is your plans for them to be abused. They even blame you. Sometimes they begin to blame themselves because they were abused. They believe that they are they liaise with the person to do that to themselves. Another factor could be depression. When a child keep harboring this and the pains inside her mind or his mind, it could make that child to end up into depression. We'll be hearing about suicide action activities by children. This could be part of it. So that is why it's very, very dangerous to have this happening around us. They believe home is safe to be in. They believe everyone in their family is supposed to be trusted. So when the trust is broken out in the home, it's very difficult for them to find a place for safety. They believe the whole world is not safe for them anymore. Another thing again, it can cause sexual dysfunction for them when they grow up. When they get married, they don't feel like having sex anymore because the first impression created for them about sex was force, was pain, was something, it was traumatic experience. So they don't want to hear anything about sex anymore, and their system has adjusted to it, and they don't enjoy sex anymore. Another thing it could cause when a child is being abused by a sibling is it to make the child not to trust anybody anymore. Even the parents, they don't trust the siblings, they don't trust relatives, they can't even trust any other person. And they have problems in their relationship in future. They have problems even with their husband. They believe everybody is the same. Even when their husband wants to come close to their children, they feel their husband can abuse their child. There is no trust, there's lack of trust. That is why we need to work against this. Another effect of this on children is, at a point, they begin to see it as a normal thing, and they continue. So when they see the person who did it to them, as they begin to have arousal towards the person, because that's the first person that ever had sex with them. So when they see the person, they feel abuse, the same thing as love. They begin to mix love and abuse to be the same, because that is the first thing they knew. So they begin to accept abuse as love, and they want to follow this person, and they keep on having the same action over and over again. And the abuse at home, most time it takes a long time before it's been identified. Before you know it, it's not always once, twice before you identify it, because as a family they want to cover it up, they want to protect their sibling, and they are close, they can watch them and know when they want to relate the issue to their parents, unlike when someone is being abused from outside. So it's very difficult, because the person who did this will try to guide the child not to talk to the parent or talk to anybody who could make it open. So the secret is always concealed. If you talk, I will kill you. If you talk, I will not play with you. So they begin to feel they cannot no longer let it out, and it begins to grow. And it kills these children. It makes them not to stand out with others. It's very difficult. And this circle will keep on going around if it's not being handled. That is why we need to work on this and pray about it, that it don't happen in our home, because it's a very deadly thing. Sexual abuse is a very dangerous thing, and when it happens among siblings, it's another higher rate of dangerous thing happening in the life of your children and the generation entirely. That is why we need to be careful, we need to watch it, we need to pray about it, we need to do everything we can to make sure we stop it. Teach your children about sex. Don't allow others to teach them. I want to advise our parents, don't leave your children at the mercy of the house help. Don't leave your children at the mercy of children teacher. Don't leave your children at the mercy of class teacher and even the lesson teacher. Sometimes these people make them buy their trust, and they can easily abuse your children when you are not there without letting you know, because you have given them the opportunity to win the trust of your children and win their love. So don't leave them at their mercy. Always find time, no matter how busy you are. Your career is choking you. Find time to stay with your children. Ask them some kind of question. Whenever you start to ask your child a question, the child is finding it difficult to let you know something that you're asking that child. No, there is something fishy somewhere. Relax, make the child to relax, and make sure you find out. Don't be harsh. Always create time with them. Teach them yourself. Teach them sex education. It is not evil. There are things you teach them at different stages in life. It will help them. Let them know that their sibling can abuse them. Let them know that the people around them can abuse them, so that on their own they can be careful enough and they'll be bold enough to tell you when things are happening. This is my advice to our parents. And I think if we do this, and if we keep teaching people, and we should also inculcate sex education in our Sunday school, because some parents, even no matter how you teach it, some parents will never teach their children. In our curriculum in school, it should be inclusive, so that people will be aware and children will be aware earlier in time before they become a victim of such a. Thank you. I know you enjoyed this episode today on siblings sexual abuse, and I pray it shall not come near your dwelling place. And if it has come, may the Lord heal the victim and heal your home in Jesus' name. Amen. Thank you. See us here next week on the same time, on the same program, you and your family, on Divinity TV. You can watch us on the YouTube. You can follow us on Instagram and Facebook. And as you follow us, the Lord will bless you. Make sure you press the notification button and make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel for more videos. Thank you for being part of this program. I know we have wonderful things to give to you as you keep following us. Thank you for your time, and God bless you.